Yo, what is up everybody? Today we're going to be doing a movie. What if Naruto was in full Uzumaki? I don't actually know if it's going to be a movie, but we'll definitely see what it's looking like. Maybe it'll be like a part 1.5. But yeah, it's been a while. It's kind of nice to be back, I guess. But yeah, we'll see how things go, and we'll go from there. But without further ado, sit back, relax, and enjoy. So we kind of start this story off pretty much when Minato is still like young, and what I'm thinking of having his parents bring him to the leaf, like when he's still like a kid, like around when he's like the youngest version he's shown in the anime, which is like, I don't know, like looks like 10 or something, or like around that age range. And he's probably the most plausible reason for him being there is for his academics. So he'd be enrolled in the academy and everything like that. And his parents, of course, would be, in this case, full Uzumaki, but he would be on his own, sort of. He'd kind of be similar to Kushina in a sense. And right after, he'd be there for a few months, and the Uzumaki would then sort of almost cease to exist. There's a few left, but most of them would be eradicated. So from this point, I can definitely pretty much Minato will continue his academics, and obviously will meet Kushina, and of course being a full Uzumaki is very good at seals. And I think I want to have seals in the sense that they make doing all the other stuff, like jutsu, taijutsu, all that stuff, just more efficient, in the sense that it doesn't deplete as much chakra. So we've seen like a character like Kakashi, who doesn't have a lot of chakra, but when he does jutsu, he uses almost the minimum amount of chakra. Like, he tries to conserve his energy as much as possible. And this is something I like about that, but I'm thinking sort of to apply this to seals and everything, just not to have like almost complete chakra control, sort of like that discipline, to be able to just spend the least amount of chakra but still outputting like a dangerous technique, or at least a useful technique in a sense. So yeah, that's what's gonna happen. Now from here I can see obviously the Minato and Kushina's life going to write about the same. I can see some small changes which I will introduce maybe later on. But yeah, we can go to the Nine Tails attack, which I can see going right about the same. The only difference in this story is that Naruto is going to be a full Uzumaki. I can see some changes about the seal, which I will introduce later on. But let's say Minato, when sealing the Nine Tails in Naruto, would apply a much more advanced seal, which will come into effect later on, and I will go over that. So, yeah, you can tell they're rusty. But pretty much, Naruto would be growing up. He'd mainly be by himself, I guess you can say. Or, I guess up until the age of 8 or 9, when the academy starts. And from here, he would start his academics. And I'm going to make a small change in the fact that just like seeing Hiruzen, by the way, Hiruzen seeing Naruto grow up, realizing like how much work he has, how much he's absent from his life, how he's not really fulfilling his promise, and he's aging. He could definitely see himself maybe dying in the next few years from old age, or maybe not a few years, maybe like 10 years from old age, but he's definitely going to have to retire soon at some point. And here I can see some sort of guilt, especially after the Uchiha massacre, where he feels like his policies have not been that effective, and he's not really overall effective in his position, and he wants to try and fix some of that, and he starts with Naruto. Now in this case, Naruto is a full Uzumaki, so his features are that of like red hair, and maybe blue eyes, I don't know, they're like eye color, but that's usually their features, obviously. So from here, I can see Hiruzen trying to maybe nudge Naruto in that area of like Fuin Jutsu. I believe that's the term for sealing jutsu. And he would at first give him like a few like textbooks just to go over like the theoretics, Now, one thing I noticed is pretty much ceiling is sort of, it reminds me of just like computer science, the way it's almost like similar. It's like applied mathematics, but in this case it's like applied theoretics of chakra in a sort of sense, being able to like manipulate things, stuff like that. I mean, it's definitely interesting to say the least. I can definitely see some comparisons have it. Of course, I mean, I wish the series did go more in depth with that, but just up to interpretation now. So from here, obviously Naruto would join the academy at the age of 8. I will have the graduation age be a bit higher in this case, because I don't really like having like kids, like 13-year-old kids become ninja. I know it's like a different world, and you know, having young soldiers, you know, help the economy in the form of missions is like helpful, but it doesn't feel like I would want more of a mature tone in a sense when discussing these characters. So yeah, I'm probably gonna have him graduate maybe around 15, 16, and yeah, we'll go from there. So I think from here, around 8 to 10, Naruto would start his first 2 years of the academy, and he would make maybe few friends, I'd say. Probably friends with like Shikamaru, you know, Choji, some other characters, Shino. Maybe I can definitely see not Sasuke being friends with Sasuke right at first, but I'd say like maybe mutual respect. Like they don't really talk that much. There's no really envy or any bad blood. In this case, Naruto's not as rambunctious as before. He's usually like laid back. He's more focused on like his extra, you know, activities after school, extracurriculars after school, which mainly pertains to like training, you know, learning more about sealing, and he creates certain inventions which help him train better. Like he creates this bead bracelet which like tracks his like, you know, running steps, things like that. Sort of what we have in this day and age, but you know, having that back then is actually very impressive, to say the least. And yeah, it sort of goes from there. I can definitely see like Naruto beginning to use certain jutsus, like I don't know, chakra control techniques. But I still, you know, the Night Tail still has some slight effect on him, but it's not to a heavy extent as it was in the original, due to that seal I did mention, and I will of course go into more depth. But we're gonna go from here. So after a few years, of course, Naruto is training, and this is when he was in, right around when he's about 12, he's gonna have Kakashi Hatake start to train him. Sort of like after school, he would train Naruto to have better chakra control, maybe start to learn some of his elements, like just to know what element he has, know how much chakra he has. Just start with the basics and then build a foundation on top of that. So, about one day when he's about 12 years old, he would finish school when a figure would appear at the outside of his school. This figure would be none other than Kakashi Hatake, who would tell Naruto that he's going to be training him. Now, of course, Naruto sees this figure who, you know, has his mask on and has his headband over his left eye, I believe his left eye. And it just seems very odd, to say the least. But the two would go to this waterfall when they would start training like chakra control techniques. This would pertain to the tree walking techniques and the water walking techniques. Now this would probably take for him maybe a week or two, and I can see maybe some issues with the seal, but very minimal, to say the least. And Naruto would be able to do quite well. I mean, he has quite great potential, especially as a full Uzumaki. His chakra pulls are probably maybe even twice the amount he had in the original, which is a lot, to say the least. But I think the strategy I'm going to go is having Naruto have a lot of chakra, but not really needing to deplete as much during battle. So most of he'll be like very efficient, very more of an energy conservationist when it comes to like fighting, and he really picked that up from Kakashi. And having that good foundation when it comes to chakra control would help him be able to do jutsus from like different elements, be able to do the Rasengan, other jutsus like that, more complex jutsus. Now, from here, after Naruto learns the tree walking and water walking techniques, Kakashi would have him do like another sort of chakra control technique, and you would have him like sort of sit on the water, right? And he would just have to hold like that position, or at least being able to like use his chakra control to like sit on the water. But in this case, not just for like a short period, it's going to be for many hours, and you'll spend like the next few hours just doing that. He'll just be sitting there doing nothing, and sort of like that's something Kakashi would definitely do. And Kakashi would probably like, he would tell him to go do it, and then he would like go like somewhere else and like I don't know, walk around. Or usually he spends most of his time at the graveyard where Obito is, or reading his book, which is definitely interesting to say the least. So from here, Naruto would definitely learn like more discipline, to just sit there and not really be actively doing anything. And over the years, or over the few months at least, he would start to enjoy doing that, and he'd sort of become like Shikamaru in the sense where he would just like look at the clouds. it's kind of funny. But so from here, we'll probably time skip to the academy, to which we're gonna have Naruto and Kakashi train more, in the sense that he's going to find out his elements are about wind and water. Now, wind being, of course, from the original, and water, I feel like, is a good element for Uzumaki to have. And I think he can definitely wield some sort of sword, some katana, perhaps. That's something that definitely seems that would make sense. Now, from here, we're going to go over the team selection. Now, I want to go over some things first. Of course, Naruto is going to pass the exams, and the thing is, Mizuki specifically tried having Naruto seal the Scroll of Ceilings, but in this case, he only really chose Naruto to do that for a specific reason. In this case, he can't really do that. So for now, Mizuki just doesn't even try. It's just not worth it with any other student who had failed. So yeah, we'll see how that goes out. So from here, Naruto would be placed on Team 7, which would pertain to Sasuke, Sakura, and Naruto. And of course, their sensei would be Kakashi Hatake. Now from here, they would have to wait for a few hours, to say the least, as Kakashi is always late, to say the least. And it would be quite tedious, but once he would arrive, they would go over introductions, and it'd be quite normal, Sasuke, of course, I believe, would be the same, of course, eager to train, eager to get stronger, and his goal to restore the Uchiha clan and murder his brother. Definitely interesting goal, to say the least. And Sakura, unfortunately, she hasn't had her character development yet, so it'll be the same. Which is maybe I'll have that go a bit different, but yeah, I didn't really like that, so hopefully she'll develop at least as a character in the story. Then Naruto, I can definitely see him having more of a goal to restore the Uzumaki clan, to at least find the previous land, to find his origins. Usually when you're an orphan, you feel like a lack of identity because you don't know who your parents are. So I can definitely see Naruto feeling like a lack of identity, and he feels sort of lost, and he wishes to fill that hole by trying to find out of his origins. So yeah, that's his goal, to restore it, to bring back the glory of the Uzumaki, to find other Uzumaki, and work together to bring glory, I guess, or for pride to the name, for the Uzumaki name to be more specific. Now from here, Kakashi would give them the bell test, and he would tell them, not to eat, to come early tomorrow, and they're going to do the test. So tomorrow, Naruto and Team 7 would go over and do or start the bell test. Of course, Kakashi would be a few hours late, and Naruto would not waste his time like laying around. He would either be reading like a book of theory or just practicing his taijutsu, something of the sort, doing some rigor, some exercise, something of the sort, to say the least. And that would be going pretty well. And as you know, Uzumaki are great sensors. So maybe 2 hours later, Naruto would have like a maybe small sense of Kakashi's presence, and then a few minutes later, Kakashi would appear. I'd say about the radius for Naruto's sensory would be about like maybe 500 meters, or yeah, something like that. I just picked a random number that didn't seem too far, but it wasn't too short. I don't know. But from here, they would start the bell test, and it would be, as you know, the bell test about teamwork. So he only gave them 2 bells, and sort of as a way to divide them and see if they're going to work together or not. So from here, they would split up, with Sasuke trying to fight him by himself, and he would hold his own for a bit, being able to use the fireball jutsu, his taijutsu techniques that he learned from the Uchiha, and he would be doing somewhat okay, to say the least. And Naruto would try on his own, and of course Kakashi and Naruto, they've been training, so Naruto sort of knows Kakashi's ideals and the fact that he's all about teamwork. So from the get-go, Naruto kind of feels like he knows the purpose of the test, but he just wants to see. So he'll have like a quick fight with Kakashi. You'll go into a taijutsu fight, and obviously Naruto knows Kakashi's fighting style. He usually try to substitute, get behind the opponent, and he's aware of that. So he'll land a kick on Kakashi, and Kakashi would turn into a log, and Kakashi would then appear behind him. But from here, Naruto would go from underground using Kakashi's own technique, which he did learn from Kakashi. So he would have a clone go underground and grab and sort of hold Kakashi there, as Naruto would turn around and go for a swinging kick, and then Kakashi would substitute again. And sort of kind of goes into the cycle of them substituting before they really get into the fight. And I can see Naruto like using a water style jutsu, like maybe Kakashi does like a fire style jutsu on him. Naruto just uses like a water wall or something like that. And Kakashi would get behind the water wall because it sort of cuts off your awareness of the opponent, obviously. And I mean, Naruto still senses him, but his sensory skill is not up to par as like to some like great shinobis. So Kakashi would manage to get behind him and take him down. Now from here, the timer would go down, and they would be, or someone would be tied to the rope, to say the least. Honestly, I actually don't know who's gonna get tied. I mean, I can definitely maybe see Naruto or, I don't know, Sasuke. It would just have Naruto, similar to canon, I guess. It's nothing too important where you go. And from here, Kakashi would explain to them that they're gonna eat lunch only, and of course Naruto can't, and they're gonna start again in about half an hour. And if they don't do that, then they're going to be sent back, or at least if they don't pass, they're going to be sent back to the academy. So from here, the three would discuss, and of course, they would give their food to Naruto, or at least give him some of it, and this would lead to Kakashi appearing seemingly angry, but telling them that they pass. So from here, Team 7 would be formed, and they would start working more, they would work maybe like a few D ranks, But after a while, maybe like 2-3 days, realize how tedious the tasks are. To which Kakashi makes them a deal, saying that they're gonna only do like one or two D ranks a week, and they're gonna spend the rest of the time just like training. And they would take that offer up. I mean, Sasuke would be quite delighted, to be able to train to kill Itachi, and I'm gonna have Sakura here. I don't have a certain need to, I don't know, learn medical jutsu, just improve overall. And same with Naruto. And this would start, of course, Sasuke and Sakura are gonna have to do some catching up because Kakashi has already been training Naruto, so he's sort of already up to par to his training techniques or plans. So the next few days would be like Sasuke and Sakura learning like chakra control techniques, like having to sit under a waterfall for hours on end, just patiently waiting, just like standing there or like sitting there on the water, like using their chakra control techniques. And Kakashi would be quite meticulous when it comes to his training. Like, he would make sure that they're training fully on chakra control, not like just splurging out on chakra. Like, I didn't quite like the canon Naruto where he would just summon a bunch of clones and then just try to use numbers against his opponent, because like it wouldn't really work because he wasn't that good at fighting, to say the least. At least in part 1. I mean, over the time skip, he got better, trained his basics, but in this case, he's going to be doing that much earlier. So from here, I don't know. I'm trying not to say this much. I'm quite rusty, as you can see. So yeah, if this is part 1 out of 2, hopefully the second part will be much better, to say the least, once I've gotten used to doing this. So yeah, or if it's a movie, it's gonna be bad. So just let me know what I can do. I'll try to implement it. So yeah, we're gonna go over their training. So yeah, like I said, Kakashi would train them on chakra control, but after the first week, once they've gotten their chakra control down, Sakura would be quite good at it. And Kakashi, always like fixating on chakra control, would take a liking to Sakura. That kind of sounds weird, but I mean in the sense that he's gonna like give her like info. Maybe she should go on to medical ninjutsu, and he would refer to Tsunade, not in the sense that she's gonna go meet her, but let's say Tsunade published some books for medical ninjutsu, and she'll learn basics of medical ninjutsu, as well as like channeling her chakra to make brute attacks. And of course, I feel like Sakura would be like a good earth user, maybe a water user. I know in the novel, I believe she used fire as well. We can have her do that later on, maybe as like a minor element. But yeah, from here, they would start learning more elemental jutsus, and I think Sasuke would get a grasp at some of the lightning jutsus, and that would be quite beneficial for him. So from here, I'd say like after a month of training, they would finally get the Land of Waves mission. So from here, they would be summoned to the Hokage's office, and they would be given a C rank mission after much pleading for a more complex mission. But after the month of training, Kakashi would request for it and tell them that they've been training, they're ready for a C rank mission, to say the least. They're all excited, the idea of traveling to leave the village. It's a fun concept to them. So they would start to do that. And obviously they didn't meet Tazuna, who I'd say in this timeline, the 3 look at least much more professional. They look more like ninjas, and they don't look like kids. I remember, as you know, they all graduated when they're like about 16, so they're more taller, more developed, more stronger, or have more chakra reserves, have better chakra control, and they know choose elemental jutsu. Let's just say they're better ninjas, to say the least. So from here, they would pack their bags, and this is where I'm going to talk about the idea of the full Uzumaki happening here, or the full concept, and the fact that when Naruto is packing in particular, he's meticulous about it, in the sense that he uses scrolls, so like he just has a backpack of 2-3 scrolls, but within those scrolls he has like a lot of equipment, a lot of supplies, so he really travels light, and that's the benefit of scrolls. and he uses that to his advantage. And their schools, he used calligraphy to write himself, like at least to create them, to say the least. And Naruto would get more into the tactics of being a ninja, like sneaking up on opponents, using bombs, finding good ways to eliminate opponents, using ninjutsus to pierce through them. And if you actually look, one thing I might have Naruto do is, if you ever seen Sukuna's cleave technique, I imagine Naruto doing that, but with just like wind. I can definitely see him then more like later on, like maybe after the tuning exams or something like that, or maybe after the time skip, like that's the area. I can definitely see him just like swiping his hand, and like this air just hits you, and it just slashes you. Like maybe like he just condenses air into like a pressure, like condenses it so much to like a slice of air. It's just I can definitely see that. So it would be quite deadly. And I can definitely see Sasuke learning the basics of some light ninjutsus, in the sense that he could start to learn the Chidori. Now, we're gonna have the three, of course, they're on their journey, they're walking through, and Naruto, as I mentioned before, he is a sensory ninja. He can sense people, and he sort of feels something off. He doesn't know particularly what, but he has a gut feeling, and he is right. And in the sense that there are people who are watching him, and two people to say the least, and they're watching them. And this is the Demon Fist brothers, and they're waiting to attack. So they would attack from the puddle, or at least they would appear from the puddle and attack the two. And Naruto, of course, would not freeze cannon. I can definitely see Kakashi like doing like training regimens where he would find different ways to sneak up on Naruto. And of course, as a kid, he's gonna do more on, not like gonna kill him, but Naruto learned from a young age that he's always aware, never really like off guard, or if that's the word, off guard. Like he even learned, like when you're sleeping, to be ready to get up and like fight, and that was from Kakashi. Kakashi, he was in the third Great Ninja War, and he's a skilled ninja. I mean, I think honestly, like probably one of my favorite characters is Kakashi. I mean, definitely have to respect him. He went through a lot. One thing I wish happened is like when Kakashi gave Sasuke that speech on like losing everything. I wish like that really convinced Sasuke, to be honest, to stay. Maybe I might have that happen. But from here, the two demon brothers would appear from the puddle and would attack the two. So they would sort of come, and they're both like adjacent to each other, and they would have this chain, and they're kind of going to cleave them. So basically, they have this chain, and at the two ends are like a short end of the chain. So the two would then like sort of swipe to the right, or at least one would swipe to the left, one would swipe to the right, and the person would be in the middle, and that's how they would kill their target. So, and that would be going more towards Tazuna. But of course, as you know, Naruto, they're in the formation, so Naruto and Sasuke are in the front, Tazuna's in the middle, and Sakura and Kakashi are towards the back. So it's like think of it as like a 2-1-2. So yeah, front, Naruto and Sasuke, middle is Tazuna, and then Sakura and Kakashi are more towards the back. So Naruto and Sasuke would sort of block the blunt end of the chain before pulling it, and this would cause the brothers to like knock into each other before Naruto and Sasuke would do a combo attack and like drop kick them, discombobulating them. Like he would pretty much drop kick their head, and it would just like leave them dazed before they would go in for the finishing blow, or at least like go for a lethal blow, at least like piercing them through like the spleen or the chest, but still enough time where they can interrogate them and get information. And this would then the two would then give the information about working for Gato or Gato Industries, and they would realize this mission just went from like a C rank to like an A rank. And Kakashi would, question Tazuna about it. This is when Tazuna would talk about the economy of the land waves, how it's not doing so well, and that's why he could not afford the mission. So From here, Kashi would relent and they would go on. So from here, Naruto and the rest of the team they're going through. They find a boat merchant or man to smuggle them across onto the land of waves, as the Yato Industries had like sort of a monopoly or control over the area, so they couldn't go through normal means, at least through like a ferry. So they had to like sneak on via contact that Tazuna did. So they would go through, and after they would get off, they would pay the man for taking them there, and of course they would promise to liberate the land. Here they would go on, and as they're walking towards the land of waves, a mist would start to materialize or form into the air, and it would go thicker. Now Naruto, he sort of knows a little bit about water jutsu, but remember, the Mist Village is all about like water jutsu. So comparing Naruto and a Mist ninja is like comparing a toddler to a teenager. Like there's a lot of difference. So, but Naruto knows the jutsu. It can sense the chakra. Like it's not just by known means that there's this mist here. It's caused by a person who is using a mist jutsu. So from here, they would sense like Zabuza's killing intent, and of course, like Sasuke and Sakura and Naruto, they'd be scared at first, but they would composure themselves, and Kakashi would tell them about like killing intent, just how to overcome it, and they would recompose themselves, and Zabuza would then throw the blade through the mist, and they would all duck. Kakashi would tell them to duck, and then they would barely avoid the blade, and the blade would then pierce into a nearby tree. From here, Zabuza would then land on the tree as he prepares to fight Kakashi. Now, Kakashi tells them to just protect Tazuna, as that's their mission. Fighting Zabuza is not their mission, so Naruto and Sasuke and Sakura would understand, and they would get into a three-man formation and get ready for any attacks. And someone who just tries to maybe throw a sneak attack like a kunai, or maybe come from the ground, or come from the nearby water river, something like this. Get ready for anything. So from here, Kakashi and Zabuza would fight, and I'd say go about the same. Kakashi would get trapped into a water prison. It's a little bit rusty, and this causes him to get trapped into the water prison. So from here, Naruto and Sasuke would plan. Now Naruto and Sasuke, they've gotten a bit closer to more friends, so more open to communicating, working together, and the two would come up with a plan about the shadow clones, which I'll have. So of course Naruto would transfer into a shuriken, and then Naruto would be thrown by Sasuke as Demon 1 shuriken, and Zabuza would dodge. And from here, Naruto would then jump out of the transform or untransform, or transform back into himself, and he would have the kunai. But in this case, I'd say you want to due to him knowing more seals, he would have a explosion tag on the kunai. He would throw it. Now, of course, this wouldn't hurt Kakashi. It's sort of like in a prison, so I guess the explosion would not be able to harm him, so he's not worried about that. And of course, Zabuza, seeing this, take his arm out. Of course, the kunai would go past. Before it would go a few meters past, it would explode, and this would give the distraction that Kakashi needs to get out and just destroy Zabuza. They would get into this battle, water jutsus. Kakashi, of course, he tries doing water dragon with Zabuza, and Kakashi can do the seals. There's a lot of seals, but the thing is, Kakashi can do them faster. But in this case, Zabuza doesn't need as much seals, so it's kind of like an interesting battle. Kakashi needs to do all the seals, making them fast, but Zabuza doesn't need to do as much seals, because considering he is from the Mist Ninja. So from here, the Team 7 would continue, or would have Zabuza on the ropes, and Haku would come in, realizing that Zabuza is in danger, and he would use the Senbone to supposedly kill him. And Kakashi would check his heartbeat or his pulse and realize there was no pulse. Of course, Kakashi still had some slight suspicion, but it wasn't really worth it because the objective is not to kill Zabuza, it's to help build the bridge. So he would relent and let Haku take Zabuza's body. So from here, Kakashi would be exhausted, and they would then go to Tazuna's house. Now from here, they would start training, but as we know, they already learned the tree walking and water walking technique. So here, Sakura learned like a few Earth style jutsus, like an Earth style mud wall, or other jutsus like that. So when they go back, of course, they can use it. They can use more defensive tactics to protect Zabuza or protect Tazuna, and obviously, her learning Earth style could be helpful for building the bridge, and that would quicken it. Of course, Kakashi knows Earth style, and Sasuke and Naruto will learn basic Earth style to just help build the bridge and complete it faster, so that the land waves can recover. So from here, Naruto would be training on his own, and he would be more or less training with a water balloon, and he'd be trying to more or less spin its chakra. Basically, he's doing the first stage of the Rasengan. As we know, Kakashi knows the Rasengan, and knowing Naruto, knowing his father, he would start training Naruto in the Rasengan. Now, of course, it would be preferable to be trained by Jiraiya, but Kakashi can get the basic points in. And as we know, Naruto's chakra control is pretty good. It's one of his best features in this case, aside from his huge reserves of chakra. So yeah, if I were to rank them, I'd say his first thing is his chakra reserve, second is like chakra control, and his third being taijutsu. So Naruto would be training in the forest, like I said before, and he would be training alone. And from here, the three figures would appear. This would be a red-headed girl, another silver-headed guy, and like another red-headed guy, or not really red-headed, he's orange. It's kind of hard to say. But these three would be Suigetsu, Karin, and Jugo. Now it's kind of like surprising, like, well, what are they doing here? Because usually, like most of the what ifs I've done, it mostly goes to canon. Maybe little changes, but I'm trying to maybe stop doing that as much, trying to go into more of creating my own arcs, maybe creating more of an alternate universe, and this is one of the changes. So what I'm having here is Jugo and Suigetsu and Karin would escape from Orochimaru, not want to work for him anymore, and sort of do their own thing, like kind of be free. Like, yeah, they'll take on the contracts and do missions just to make money, but like they'll just really just be their own people, I guess. And the reason why they actually wanted to approach Naruto was there was news around the town that the red-headed guy named Naruto Uzumaki came into the village, and Karin was interested because of Uzumaki, because there's very few of them. So from here, they would all like start to talk, and Naruto would go over to where they are, which is pretty much sort of like a farm, I guess you can say, sort of by the water. And from here, Naruto would ask them for assistance against Gato, and this is why they really contacted him, or at least came to him, because they all know that the team just fought Zabuza and Momochi, the demon of the mist, and obviously the reason why Suigetsu came along was that he was promised that he would be able to get the executioner's blade once Zabuza is dead, and this is mainly his motivation. He wants to bring all of the seven swordsmen into his possession, at least because of it. He is brothers with Monogetsu, who used to be supposedly the owners, or at least wielders of all seven swords. So he wants to bring it back to the family, as you can say. And this is where, that's sort of how they created their unit. Karin just wants to find the old Uzumaki area, and this is sort of where some of their temples are, I guess you could say, some buildings, remnants of it. But the Uzumaki land is actually very close by in another island that's very close by. And this is why, in particular, she was interested, because she wanted to find other Uzumaki to bring back the land to take over again, and hopefully, build their own autonomous village. So from here, they would reach an agreement. If the three helped Naruto and his team, that they would, they would give the Executioner Blade to Suigetsu, and they would be allowed to come back to the Leaf if they want. Of course, they can be their own, independent contractors to be ninja-less, to not really fight for any nation. So yeah, that was the agreement that they would make. And from this point, the moral of the agreement was between Kakashi and the three. Kakashi is their jonin, kind of needs to hear about this. He needs to authorize it, whether it's possible, and he agrees. So they start to devise a plan. Now they theorize that Gacho would want to kidnap Inari and Tsunami. I forgot her name. Tsunami or something like that. Or yeah, pretty sure it is. But they want to kidnap them, use them as ransom, so that the bridge is not built. So they come up with a plan. So they're gonna have 2 clones of Naruto transform into them, and then they get kidnapped, and they're gonna bring them close to Gato, and Gato's gonna use them as ransom. And once they're close to Gato, 2 clones can then transform back and just go in for the kill. That will be the easiest way. And of course, there'll be some distraction. Naruto will just go in and do it quick and easy. So that's the plan. So from here, the 6 now, or 7, Tazuna, Naruto, Sasuke, Sakura, Kakashi, Jugo, Suigetsu, and Karin would go over to the bridge. The plan is now set, everyone's ready, and they head there. So from here, I can see more of Jugo. As we know, he gets angry fast and he loses control, so we're gonna have him play more defensive, unless he's really, because maybe Kakashi can use a Sharingan on him. That's sort of the plan. If Jugo needs to fight, he can try to, if he needs to, he can go rampage mode. Then Kakashi will use Genjutsu, and then bring him back. So from here, the lineups or the matchups would just be Kakashi versus Zabuza, and then it would just be the other, or Jugo and Sakura staying back a little bit, and then the other 3 just jump. Or I can definitely see more like Karin and Sakura staying back, and then the other 3 just jumping Haku. That would be very unfair. Let's just say Haku is gonna have a hard time. I could definitely see him using his demonic mist jutsu earlier, but the thing is, when Suigetsu there, he was born in the mist. He knows their techniques, so I can see Suigetsu not knowing it, but at least being more adaptable to counter it. So from here, they would have Jugo sort of transform to come to take in more energy, nature energy, and they would do combined attacks on the ice. So from here, the 2 would try using a combined technique, and Suigetsu can of course transform into that weird humanoid water form, and Suigetsu can transform into a huge form of water in their Bai River, so that just makes more sense. And Jugo would transform into his form, and Naruto would probably get ready to use a water style jutsu, just whatever jutsu that has the most area effect, and they're gonna pinpoint at one area. So the 2 would do just that, and it would completely destroy the demonic mirror jutsu. There's nothing left of it. So from here, Haku would get immediately ambushed by the 3, and he gets pierced through the chest by Naruto's katana, and that really ends him off. Of course, fortunately, there isn't much character development when it comes to Haku. But what I'm gonna have here is maybe have Zabuza have some moment of change, and this is where he'll have his moment where he'll cut through all the people for ending Gato. And I can definitely see those clones transforming, and they would start helping out, and that would really take out the mob of Gato's gang to really be totally annihilated. Yeah, and the others who were left would just like run away or like come back and start working for the Land of Waves. Maybe like some people were just working for Gato just for means. So some people weren't truly loyal. Some people were just doing it just for money. So from here, the Land of Waves would be liberated, and this is where Naruto and the rest would find Gato's mansion and start distributing the wealth. And this is where Naruto would make a deal with Taza, in the sense that this was sort of like old Uzumaki land, right? Or at least somewhat old Uzumaki land. Of course, the other Uzumaki land being part of it as well. And he wants to have it back in control. And he makes a deal with him that at some point, or for now, the Leaf has somewhat control. I wouldn't say somewhat control. Let's say the Land of Waves is autonomous, but they receive more resources from the Leaf. More of like a deal, the Land of Waves gives resources to the Leaf, and this Leaf in return would provide them with money, ninjas. They would start building academies there so that the people can become ninjas and sort of develop into a nation. And at some point, I think Naruto himself would actually sort of become leader of this land, because in his Uzumaki land, I guess it would make sense, So from here, Naruto would spend the remaining few days going through the old Uzumaki buildings, and he would find some like scrolls. Nothing too crazy. Of course, than a normal person, it wouldn't find much because it's more like blood seals and everything. It's like only Uzumaki people can go through it, or at least enter the building, pass through the ceiling, and then be able to open the scrolls. And then they have to like apply some blood onto the seal to then reveal the text. Sort of like the Uchiha scrolls, where like in this case you would have to like use the Sharingan. That's just an example. Like you have to have your Sharingan activated to be able to read the text or the tablets or other things like that. So from here, Naruto and Naruto and his team would return to the Leaf, and Karin, those other two would stay in there, start building the reputation of the Land of Waves, and rebuilding it as the land of the Uzumaki. So yeah, this is probably gonna end off part 1. I think there's only gonna be another part, and yeah, then that would just be the end of this. So yeah, let me know I'm thinking of finishing some series. One series in particular I want to finish is the What If Naruto Was Grimmjow's Reincarnation. I want to probably just I'm gonna continue that in the sense that I'm gonna compile them together, hopefully, and just finish it off and then make it a movie or something like that. Yeah, that's my plan at least. And then I think I might do another one. I might not do as much reincarnations, but what I'd rather do instead is have that character simply born into Naruto verse or whatever verse it is, because I think that one is more better. Because I don't really like having to think of like what happens to Nine Tails and just finding ways to write that out. I'd rather just have the character be born there, make more in-depth lore, more of an in-depth story. I'll probably even start scripting, more rigorously, to say the least. Now, if you're wondering, a few of you might know me as friend of Gax. He is and as you know, his channel is gone. All of his videos are deleted, and the reason is he just he's done. He quit. I mean, I was speaking with him maybe a year ago, and of course 2 years ago when he wanted to delete his channel, or at least his videos, he said that he would delete it in a year, and then he did a bunch of videos and then he just left. So he's doing his own thing now, and I believe he gave his channel to a friend or something. It's been unfortunate that the channel's not really being used that much. I don't really have any access to it. I used to have managerial access to it, via YouTube Studio, but now I don't. So yeah, it's been unfortunate, but it is what it is. I'm just gonna focus on just uploading more, producing more content instead of consuming more content. Yeah, but without further ado, guys, I hope you have a good day. Subscribe to the channel, and comment what if ideas you want done, and maybe just ideas on how I can improve my story. Of without further ado, guys, have a good day.